We're live. What's happening? Happy Monday, everybody. What's going on? What's happening, friends? What's happening, replay viewers? And what's happening, new friends? Hopefully, everybody had a fantastic start to their week for Monday. New week, new us. The show! Hope you had a fantastic start to your day. New week, new us. Hopefully, you all have some good goals for yourself set for this week on just going on and crushing it. Continuing the series, part 4. Part 4 of the series to the science of getting rich. So excited to get is based on the first principle of the science of getting rich. And it's based on the principle of thought. The principle of thought. So he brings forward, Wallace Wallace brings forward saying, nice shower cap, thank you. Thank you for a laugh. That was awesome. Man is a thinking center and can originate thought. All the forms that man fashions with his hands must first exist in his thoughts. He cannot shape a thing until he has thought that thing. So we live in a universe that's pretty much based on a thought universe. Everything that we even handle, from like being on a computer, this was created from thought. Some person thought this in their mind and created that. So even in the sense of like, you know, a car, an automobile that you used to drive to work, that was created on a thought. It was based on what substance of a thought. So when he talks about an original substance as well, he says that original substance moves according to its thoughts. Every form and process you see in nature is a visible expression of a thought and original substance. So it comes based on something that originally was created based on someone's thought in their mind. So the point of this and how we can implement this into our lives is that whatever we think is what we can manifest into our lives. So when you think about something in your mind, it goes into a form of being a formless substance because it's not formed yet. It's just in your mind. And then it takes us to press on that thought in order for it to be created and reproduced into our existence or into our life. But sometimes we can reach areas of trouble with if we are thinking thoughts in more of a destructive manner than a constructive manner. So some of the things that he talks about in this chapter, it goes through on how we can actually go based on thinking things into appearance than no appearance. So one of the things that he says is thinking yourself out of bad situations. So if you're in a situation, if you're in a situation of poverty and you think consistently, keep thinking and habitually thinking of the process of you being impoverished, ultimately what you should be doing instead is thinking about how you can get out of that situation, getting out of that state of being in a poor state. You want to think of your way out of that. So thinking your way out of bad situations. So it all starts with visualizing as well. So visualizing is a big thing because in order for things to be created, we actually have to see them ourselves. So once we actually have that mind power to do that, because he even relates that this principle is not simple at all. It's not a simple principle, but it's something that we can all develop on and we can actually create and get better at. And at the end of this, I'll also bring up how he ties that in and how we can get better at doing those things and producing the better thoughts in our mind. So the first thing is visualizing it. So he even brings up, like, in the sense of, say you want a dream car, a dream home. What you really need to do at first is to visualize yourself of what your dream home is going to be. You turn that into a formless substance in your mind. And since all things are created based off all man, you want to think of where is that house going to be. So you're in your head, you're thinking about it. What's it going to be like? What's the door going to look like? You know, how many windows are going to be? You start thinking about all these things in your mind, and then you develop those things of creative process and thoughts, and you enact everybody else's thoughts that have, so like your plumber, your carpenter, all those things were created based off man and thought. So he says that you go forward and you kind of think about these things and you manifest them into your life and your existence. So where these things can go bad is, for instance, when we have an issue with appearance and disease or appearance and poverty, like I said before. So he talks about, you know, we can think ourselves into being sick. You know, and we can think ourselves into a process of being anxious or having some form of anxiety or depression and bring upon disease upon ourselves based on the way that we think about Actually, I want to bring up this quote because it's so powerful in what he says. He says, the let me see here. Where was that? I lost my part here. Pretty much, he ends up saying that whoever has the power to mastermind this can ultimately have substance for which all things are made. Like, so the power, yeah, the power behind becoming, the power behind this and being able to manifest things in your life, it ends up becoming, that person becomes a mastermind of this. Because if you can change your reality based on the thoughts that you think, that's like more than half the battle. But it's something that takes a lot of practice at it. It's something that you really have to work at, and you really have to go forward. And he says that when we realize this, we lose all doubt and fear, for we know that we can create what we want to create, we can get what we want to have, and we can become what we want to be. So that's huge, because I mean, when you have that thought process, and I keep saying this over because it's such a thing that we really need to implement in our lives and ourselves, because I think it can absolutely change, if we're in an unhappy situation, how we can get from that situation to somewhere else. We just have to plant that seed in our mind and then take the actions of going through towards it. So he says one of the biggest ways that we can do that is dwell upon this until it is affixed in your mind and has become your habitual thought. So you're constantly thinking about this. So whether you want to become successful at something, or you want to go back to school and do something that's going to benefit your life, or whether you want to be able to develop in a business that's going to be very successful for yourself, it all starts with habitually thinking about it and having constructive thought, though. And I think a lot of it goes to whether or not, if you start thinking in a sense of destruction, where the words that you think are what your thoughts are. So thoughts are words and words are thoughts. So if you start thinking about, once you're thinking about all these things, but I can't do that, or I'm going to try, or, I'm not sure if that, most likely aren't going to become constructive for you in manifesting the things in your life that you really want to have and really want to develop on and really acquire and have in your life. So he relates it too with also thinking things in appearance. So he talks about, like, when you think about your health and when you're surrounded by the appearance of disease, or you think of riches when its midst of appearance of poverty requires power. But he who requires power becomes a mastermind. He can conquer fate. He can have what he wants. So that's huge. I know this is a bit deep, but if this principle is really enacted, you can pretty much produce fruit in your life with anything. And he even says that it's a very difficult thing, but if it's something that we focus on to get us out of the situations that we're unhappy with, it's something that can just get easier and easier all the time. And it's something that we can absolutely develop. So he even relates to, how you carry yourself, the physicality. If you carry yourself and posture yourself with confidence, that's only going to enact in your mind. So if you're carrying yourself with your shoulders slumped, how do you expect to actually have constructive thought and going forward and doing the things that you want to manifest in your life? So it's crazy, because most of the things that have been enacted, some of the greatest creations, I mean, like Elon Musk, like Tesla, like that was created off of thought, and now that's like $1 billion idea. Like some of the most biggest things, $1 billion ideas have been created off thought. So I think the takeaway from this for you is pretty much just avoiding constructive thought, avoiding destructive thought, and have more thoughts of constructive. Thoughts are things. So you must start in your mind of where things are formless and create them into something that's going to be prominent and abundant in your life. So if you got some value out of this, drop one in. And I appreciate everybody that watched this. And if you'd like to get this book in your hands, I'd love to get this book to you. This book is absolutely insane. I plan on extending the ebook copy to get to everyone in this whole entire series. It's going to be like a 2-week series. Hope you hang with. Drop it if you want that book. And, otherwise than that, everybody have a fantastic night, and I'll catch you tomorrow.